Hello there, audience. Dr. Brony here, and I'm going to be reading 3 stories for you today. The first one goes by the name of Luna's Champagne Supernova, and this was written by CoffeeBean on FIMFiction.net. Let's begin. It is the night of the Grand Galloping Gala, and you are feeling very lucky indeed. You could sense Princess Luna's semi-drunken gaze permeating your golden clothing as she pulls you towards her, examining you closely, her hooves running up and down your body as she assesses your worth. It had been so dark and so cold for so long, the touch of this filly brought a certain gentle warmth to you as she caressed you, huge eyes checking you over as she started to peel at the gold, leaving you naked before her. She obviously liked what she saw, as she began to run her hooves over you a little faster, taking your cool shaft between her lips, tugging at the head with her teeth as she begins to take you in her anticipation. The stimulation was too much for you, causing you to explode, spurting over the alicorn's face and soaking her hair, making her giggle. Realizing what she had done, she quickly slips her lips over the top, filling her mouth with your essence and swallowing you eagerly, enjoying the delicate, dry flavor, savoring the feeling of bubbles on her tongue. She closes her eyes as she repeatedly swallows, the tiny tiara on her head glinting in the square of light from the cellar door. Soon you find yourself spent and empty as her delicate midnight blue lips break contact with you. She places you on the ground next to others of your kin, fellow brothers who had finally fulfilled their desire to please the beautiful mare. You watch as she selects another bottle, tearing the wrapper off and pulling the cork with her teeth. She must have been very thirsty indeed. Well, that was fun. Now, story number 2, Soren and his lover. When you had met him, the Pegasus colt seemed so calm, reserved, and confident. He had eagerly taken you and led you into the VIP area of the gala, introducing you to his co-workers and fans, almost showing you off as he held you. That was when the shock came as he gently lay you on the ground in front of them, tenderly licking your golden brown skin, following your curves down to the delicate red clothing. Feeling this, you knew you wanted him inside you. You didn't care about the watching guests. You needed to have him, see his snout covered in your juices, watching him savor your flavor. Your wish is granted as he effortlessly slips his tongue into you, teasing you, trying to be polite in front of those watching. A little of your tangy juice appears on his lips as he continues to devour and ravish you. He begins to lose himself, his pleasure escalating, eagerly swallowing anything found between his lips, soon gently using his teeth on your skin, nipping and nibbling. All too soon you find yourself in ecstasy, covering your lover's snout, still feeling his tongue inside you. You're soon distracted by the yellow Pegasus mare who speaks up next to him. "Gee, Soren, can't you eat that thing a little more politely?" You silently hate her as he finishes, with less intensity than before, eventually leaving you alone on the floor for a passing waiter to pick up your empty shell, depositing you in the trash. Alright, looks like I've got one more story for you. This one is titled, Celestia's Delicious Treat. Let's begin. Such an honor had required you to be very neatly presented, and for one reason or another, covered in icing. You had been fetched before her by one of her personal guards, your sisters in tow, and were left on her bed as she sat grooming herself at the dressing table. When she finished, Celestia drew her eyes upon you, her magic undoing the bow that had been wrapped around you as she slipped you out of your clothing, exposing your icing-covered skin. Celestia held you before her, her hair the same colors as the makeup you had been wearing, little bits of color to make you look more attractive. Placing you gently on the covers, Celestia quickly dashes to her door, requesting that the guards on the other side assure that she is not disturbed, before locking it and returning to you, a hungry look in her eyes. Your sisters watched as she pulled you towards her and gave you an experimental lick, your flavor sweet and enticing, obviously pleasurable to Her Majesty's palate and causing her to smile. After glancing at her door once more, Celestia turns to you and runs her tongue around and over your generous curves. You want to squeal in delight, but you find yourself unable to do so. You find her small yet surprisingly agile tongue run all over you, slowly working its way to your hole as Celestia closes her eyes to enjoy the sugar rush. She takes a nibble, the blue color of your frosting staining her lips as she chews and swallows. Bit by bit, Celestia finishes the donut before rapidly taking another one out of the packet. She'd been surprised when she tried one for the first time at the gala with Twilight Sparkle and her friends, but the sugary treats were simply delicious. Well, I certainly enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. Be sure you leave a comment in the section down below to tell me what you want me to read next. And as always, stay classy, every pony. Stay classy.